I just decided I need to do something else. I want to get out from the warehouse. I need to do something else. So I went to the bookstore and I asked the guy, can you advise me any I didn't know it's going to be properties. So I just asked him, can you advise me any business books? Because I want to start my own business and I don't know how. I don't know what to do.
You just asked the guy in the bookstore?
Yeah.
So he could have given you a book on fishing.
Exactly.
And you could have been doing that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like a lot of accident, a lot of luck. And he brought me 3 different books. So one was Steve Jobs, was like very thick. Another one was some kind of economic. And I look at it, no, that's too hard for the beginning. And the last one was a very common book, Rich and Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki.
Yeah.
And people asking me, why did you use Robert Kiyosaki book? And they looking for some reason. And the reason was because it was thin. And I thought it's going to be good for the beginning, like get something thin and then start with some more advanced books. And that book just changed my way of thinking.
It's my pleasure today to have as our podcast guest Dawid Dowbusz. Dawid came from Poland in 2012 with £400 in his pocket. He came just for a few months but ended up staying to build a massive property empire, more than 50 HMOs to his name. He does pub conversions and also is building new build blocks of apartments, and he's a tremendous inspiration to all. Dawid, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much for inviting me. It's a great honor. But before we're going to start, I got some little traditional gifts from Poland.
Oh, thank you so much.
I'm hoping you're going to enjoy them.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, so that's our tradition where we are invited to someone else's place. We always bring something for the host. So
there's some alcohol in here, which is always very, very well appreciated. Thank you so much, Dawid. No, thank you so much. Listen, we've known each other. We haven't known each other that long, actually. About a year or so, I think.
Something like that.
But when I first talked to you, I found you quite inspirational. It's your reason why, it's your motivation, it's your get up and go, it's your wanting to try new things all the time. And that, I think, is why I wanted you to come on this podcast and share that with our viewers. Now, you're a YouTuber as well.
That's true, yeah.
How many subscribers?
It's over 30,000 subscribers. So it's an extreme niche channel where it's a Polish immigrant talking about properties in Polish, about properties in Great Britain, where there's not so many Poles living in here. But still, people see that interesting. So yeah, there are people who are watching that.
It's pretty good. I mean, we've put a little graphic of it here, and there's a link in the description below. So do check out that channel. So tell me, you came here in 2012 from Poland. Why?
So basically the reason was we just finished university, me and my wife. So I got master degree in engineering. And the goal was to get here, steal some job, get money out, get back to Poland, get married and start living there. But after we got married, I decided...
You got married here in the UK?
No, we got married in Poland. So we did like a big wedding. In Poland, in our tradition, you have to do like a big wedding where you invite all the family. You need to provide them beds, sleeping in hotel rooms, food and alcohol. So it's very expensive wedding in Poland. So we was working 6 months to save that, living in the small room and saving all the money we could, doing loads of overtime. And after that, I decided...
What job were you doing?
Oh, that was a warehouse job.
Okay.
In the fridge. 0 degree. And it was hard, really hard work, hard place to work. And it wasn't the place of the dream. It wasn't, I imagined myself like I'm going to finish university and everyone going to wait for me with open hands. David, we're happy you just finished your university. Come over and work here as an engineer, but nothing like that happened. So,
and you ended up in Sheffield. That's where you came into the UK. So why Sheffield out of all the places?
Totally accidentally, because during the time of university, I found myself like we need to get some extra money to survive there. So every summertime we was going abroad for some minimum wage jobs to get some extra money. So we've been in Germany, in England, and also my wife been in Scotland. So that was totally accident, because my friend promised me we will have place to live and we will have a job in Manchester, but nothing like that happened. We arrived and there was nothing there. We didn't have even place to sleep. There was like piece of floor, and we sleep only on that floor like 2 days. And then his fellow mates from other rooms told him like, you need to kick them out. We don't want them. So there was no work, no place to live, and I was like in huge stress, desperate, like I don't have money. Like I don't even have money for the ticket to get back to Poland. So we was desperate to get any job, and we was as a passengers driving with him to different shops when he was delivering the bread. And I asked in one place, basically I asked everywhere, but in one place the shop owner told us there is a place where they need people to work. It was a green core in Kiveton, it was a warehouse for the food factory. There was making sandwiches and other stuff as well. So that was like a dream, dream come true. Like someone who's growing up in UK, have a lot of contacts and can choose between places to work. For us was like, we've been so desperate. It was like, key to gates of the heaven.
So you landed the dream job in the warehousing and all of that. I mean, that sounds like great fun, lots of career prospects. Why would you want to do anything else?
Well, in the place where I've been, it was the conditions of that place was not great. And from the cold temperature, my wife fingers even swallow, so it was not even good.
Oh, you were both working there?
Yeah, we both was working there. The funny fact is, when we arrived at second time that place, there was different management, and there was similar story. Again, one of the friends told us there would be a place to work, but when we arrived, there was no work. So we was going from knocking from doors to doors, and I went to that office, I remember, without any appointment. I just asked people, where is the office? So we walk in, and I told, there was like 3 managers sitting there, different departments. And I just walked in and I told them, listen guys, we are the best picker packers you ever seen in the world. We pick and pack different products in Germany, Scotland, and in the UK. So this is a great occasion for you guys to have like great workers in your place who will do a lot of overtime and will work fast and hard. So those 3 guys, like, they make a big eyes, like, who you are, like, why you walking in. But when they start listening to me, they just start laughing.
Is that get up and go, that hustle, that willing to knock on a door and hustle for things?
That is
the key skill in anything. And I think
same in properties.
And that same in properties, same in any business. I guess my next question then is, you're here temporarily to get some money, go back to Poland. What made you decide to do property? And also, you were working all hours, lots of overtime, because a lot of people are in jobs that they don't like and they stumble on property, and then you managed to find the time to do property. So I think, why property, and how did you find the time, and how did you get started in property?
Okay, so that was costly, because I sleep less than normal person, and I don't want to recommend things like that, because I remember in my second job where I had my first houses and I was stripping them by myself. I was starting like 6 a.m. to do any jobs I could on the property, and then I was starting a night shift and finishing like 6 a.m. again, getting back to the bed 7 a.m. So it was like 24 hours run, but that was like not whole week, obviously, single days, and that was not good for my health. I started getting problems with the skin, with sleep, with the stress, but at the very beginning I just decided, before I went with the properties, I just decided I need to do something else. I want to get out from the warehouse. I need to do something else. So I went to the bookstore and I asked the guy, can you advise me any I didn't know it's going to be properties. So I just asked him, can you advise me any business books? Because I want to start my own business and I don't know how. I don't know what to do.
You just asked the guy in the bookstore?
Yeah.
So he could have given you a book on fishing.
Exactly.
And you could have been doing that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like a lot of accident, a lot of luck. and he brought me 3 different books. So one was Steve Jobs, was like very thick. Another one was some kind of economic, and I look at it. No, that's too hard for the beginning. And the last one was a very common book, Rich and Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. And people asking me, why did you use Robert Kiyosaki book? And they looking for some reason, and the reason was because it was thin. And I thought it's going to be good for the beginning, like get something thin and then start with some more advanced books. And that book just changed my way of thinking.
So what was it? I mean, what I tend to ask, because a lot of people started their journey reading Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, very popular book in this real estate world. But what were the key messages that drove home to you?
That you can do something else. And when I grow up, most of the people was saying like it's not possible. If you will do a business, you need to grow up in a wealthy family to have money for the start.
Yes.
Or you need to have some contacts with the, I don't know, bank owner who will lend you money, because a normal person will not get money from the bank to start the business. So everyone was saying it's not possible to do anything else than just go and work and have a just decent job and to the rest of your days. So in that book, Robert was showing he start things without nothing.
Yes.
And it's just clicked in my head, like changed my way of thinking, like that there is a possibility. You just need to start generating wealth and then start from something small and then go from that point to bigger and bigger. And it's just,
so
that was just a click. That was just a click in my head that things are possible if you're going to focus on them like a laser, and you're going to start developing around. Basically, that was a property business. So as soon as I finished that book, I started interesting in mortgages. My wife looked on YouTube to look for any advices from people who doing that stuff, and we found, because my English was not good enough, so she looking for us. She found some small Polish community where people was attending other English conferences, and one of the girls been on rent-to-rent property training, and when she was a speaker, she told me that magical word which we called remortgage. And when I heard remortgage, that was like something insane. That was like key for the success. Like you buy in one house, you getting that as cheap as possible. Get the proper value of that house, so you're not gonna overpay. Renovate and remortgage, and I thought like this is
the classic brewer strategy.
Yeah. So this was like never-ending story. You can get once amount of money and then you can recycle that, and so that's how it started. And I got extreme drive from it. I make a plan straight away, like how much money we need for first house, how much we need for second, where we're gonna get that money. So I put a plan with dates. This is extreme important. With dates, like how long it's gonna take me to find a house, how long is it gonna take me to purchase that. So I calculate everything, and I calculated it's gonna take me 2 years from now to get enough properties. In Sheffield, there was like 6 houses where we rent them like as a share houses, share accommodation. Mini
HMOs, basically.
Well, there was mini HMOs, which was not, there was no license required for them. And I calculated I need 6 of them. And it's going to take me doing so many overtime, subletting the rooms where we live, because we asked the landlord. I didn't know nothing about law and regulation, so I just asked the landlord, are you okay with that? We're going to sublet the 3 rooms upstairs and we're going to live in the living room. Because otherwise I'm moving out because it's too expensive. And she says, okay, no problem. So we sublet those 3 rooms, and we were saving a lot of money. All those rooms pay off the house and pay off the bills. So our wages we save in full. I even bought a really bad car that was like old Fiat Punto. Extreme bad. I was lucky. It was like driving from point A to point B, and I was collecting people, charging them for picking up them and taking them to workplace and driving them back after we finish. So I was saving pennies everywhere. Even old landlords was asking me, David, can you advertise my house, because I can't get the tenant. For me, it was like easy, doing some pictures, posting that on Facebook, and and getting people to see that property. And with those things, I was collecting money so fast that in 6 months I got my first property, and we sublet that we rented out to individual rooms, and then the second property was a repossessed, and that was like extreme good one because it was very poor condition. So I bought second one. I had enough money just to purchase that, but there was not enough money to renovate that. So I asked my friend who I studied with on my university, can you lend me £10,000? I needed 20,000 in total. So he lent me £10,000. So I had enough money just to start renovation. And then during that renovation, I was trying to get another £10,000. And lucky for me, when the project was finished, I got the rest of the money. So I finished the renovation, which was 20,000. And after remortgage, I got so that was one of the best deals. My second property was one of the best deals. I got all the money back, and straight away I purchased another property. So in first year, I got my first 3 houses.
So your initial plan was 2 years to become financially free with 6 houses. Did you have a monetary target of how much you wanted to achieve?
Yeah. That was I want to have at least £6,000 monthly.
And at that point, that was when you quit the job.
Yeah.
So in the first 2 years,
it took me 2 years and 1 month.
2 years and 1 month. Oh dear. You slightly missed target.
I missed the target because I was buying repossessed property, and the solicitor should finish on Monday. Then he moved to Wednesday, and then he says, "Oh, David, we're going to finish on Friday." And on Friday, 12 o'clock, he told me, "David, 3 p.m. you can collect your keys." And unfortunately, 1 o'clock, the estate agent called me, someone put a higher bid, and I couldn't believe that. And honestly, there was someone, because I saw
I'm
people
teasing you slightly because the key point is you had a target.
Yeah, I know,
if you don't have a target, you'll never get it.
This is like a funny story because you create a target, and you can do everything what you can, and you think you're doing things like spot on perfectly, but then all the people around you, and they do mistakes, and their mistakes will cost you.
Very, very true. What I'm intrigued about then is that, tell me a little bit about your work-life balance in those first 2 years achieving that target.
So first 5 years, there was no work balance. There was only sacrifice, and there was no holidays. There was like zero of social life. It was only, work. After work, there was the first 2 years, there was after work was another work, which was my own, my private, building my portfolio. But after I built my portfolio, then I focused like what to do now, like how to scale now this business. So first 5 years was just running around because I look after my renovation by myself. I let my property by myself. I was looking for new projects by myself with my wife. She was searching Rightmove and Zoopla in the house. So it was like 3 different jobs.
David, you are incredibly driven.
But what changed after 5 years? I got my first employees. I was earning enough to start hiring people, and that create me life balance. I could eventually take my family for a holiday. I could have a weekend off. So that was my plan. Like, I need to build this business as big, so I will be able to hire people, and they're gonna buy me time.
So, okay, you started in 2012. First 5 years, hard graft. We're now in 2024. You have 20 companies. You have 16 employees. You're building multi-story new build blocks of flats. That's where you are now. Do you think, without making those sacrifices in the first 5 years, you could have done it?
No, easy answer. No chance. Maybe I could, but it will be, I don't know, maybe 15 or 20 years later. Bear in mind that property prices keep changing, the market is keep changing. So when people asking me when is good time to invest, when is good time to start, I always answer like the best one was yesterday,
Yes.
but the good time is today.
Yes,
Tomorrow
yes.
will be too late. So as soon you're gonna start, it's gonna be better for you in long term.
So HMOs, room shares, obviously gives you high cash flow. You've done more than 50 of those around the Sheffield area. Then I got into construction. Talk to us about your first major construction project.
So first one was a conversion pub to commercial unit, an old pub which was not working. The owner was still paying business rate. And I thought I did so many different HMO properties. Honestly, I was converting basement to kitchen, adding attic rooms, and we have some HMO where everything been knocked down. We just left external walls. So we did also extensions. So I realized I can move out from comfort zone and do something new.
That's very right, because when you do an HMO, particularly if you put in en suites and little kitchenettes and tea rooms and stuff like that, you're pretty much building flats.
Exactly.
So there's not much of a jump up.
Yeah.
But why a pub?
And because I saw like many other experienced investors in the UK who doing conversions and they do that well. And to be honest, that pub will be better with numbers if I will convert that to like a massive HMO property, because there is a huge demand over there. But I decided like do something different. We will see what will happen after that. Is that gonna help me scale up to do bigger projects? So it wasn't only going for cash flow or going for money. It was going for an adventure, experience, and to open the gate to new possibilities. And so the interesting thing is I offered the owner over £100,000 before the auction, and they declined it.
An auction property.
Yeah, it was an auction, and on auction I purchased that for £70,000 plus VAT, which was in total 84. So I paid less in auction than I offered him before auction.
That happened. So it didn't sell at auction, or were
No.
you the bidder?
No. It sold to me on auction.
Okay,
So I got that property. So still he accepted that offer. I don't
Didn't
know.
have any choice. That happens. That happens a lot.
And so the planning was in this one.
Because you made it 6 flats, didn't
Yeah.
you, under full planning permission?
And it was extreme quick. So the council really want this to be converted to something because it was abandoned and there was different people walking around, like, I don't know, drug dealers or I don't know, different kind of people, I would say.
This is the thing that people don't realise, that there are some parts of the country, particularly more affluent parts of the country, where if you do a pub conversion, you get so much resistance from the council, it's virtually impossible. And there are other areas where the pub is an eyesore and is a problem
Exactly.
building.
There was a problem.
And the councils are desperate for someone to come in and just put in the money and do something with it.
Yeah, so they've been so happy, and I make a video in Polish to my channel, and local councillor shared that to his profile, and he was saying, I don't know what this guy is talking about, but seeing from the pictures, I love it, and I would like other landlords to do the same in our area. So the place for living for people will be better, because we made a nice finish. And so the planning permission been really, really quick. We got that done very fast, and we started from there.
And one of the businesses, of course, that you've got involved in is construction business. You've taken that in-house. What was your main reason, your motivator for setting up your own construction company?
Cowboys.
Go on.
Some building company are cowboys, sorry for saying that, but there is so many dodgy people. From my experience, for every 4 company I choose, one was honest, and other 3, sorry for rude words, but being dodgy, fooling you, not doing things which they supposed to be done, like with the spec. For example, they was not putting the insulation in, or other things which not been done correctly. Like, they was always thinking how to surpass things to do them quicker and cheaper, and you always need to keep eye on them. So that was too much stress for me, and I decided I'm gonna hire like project manager who will look after all renovations on all other projects and keep an eye on the construction companies because it's giving me too much stress. When I was also running other businesses, looking just after renovations, it was like too much hassle, and that was very helpful. But at the beginning, there was also some losses, like choosing wrong person to that position. Like people, when they send you a CV, they will sell you everything. Like I can build a space rocket, and that not always is true. So at the very beginning, when I was building that company, I had huge losses, like easy in total, like over 100K, which I paid from my pocket. But end of the day, it was worth it. So it's making the numbers better for me on all other projects.
And numbers, of course, are quite key because a lot of the areas that you build flats in are relatively low value. Some of the end values of a one-bedroom flat are £80,000. So it's absolutely essential, isn't it? The cost side of it.
Yeah, it is. So this is essential, and also the price you pay for the commercial unit. For example, someone offered me a big commercial in Doncaster where I can build, I don't remember, 6 or 8 flats, and we calculated after we're gonna put all the money in for that conversion and the value of the flats in the area, the numbers will not stack. So I said to the guy, like, listen, the price you want for that is actually the GDV. It was going to be, done up value, so it's not worth it. So it's definitely harder in the north to make things work, but still it's possible. As soon you're going to find a deal where the price will be fitting your needs. So for example, that pub was extreme cheap, and that what really helped me to finish that project where the project been valued for over 400K and done up value. So the price of is very important. You purchase in the project.
Absolutely. So when you're doing stuff in the north, lower value areas, of course, cost control is very important, and the price you pay is very important, and that means getting a fantastic deal significantly below market value. So how do you source those properties?
So today I hire full-time 6 deal sourcers, so they source the properties. But in the past, I was doing that by myself. So just searching website, talking to people. So it's really good to have a contact, for example, with older experienced landlords, so they know the area. So as soon you're gonna have met a person like that, just take it out for a dinner, and I got really good deals from knowing people like that who just told me like, oh, I know John want to sell that property. So I was buying the property, some properties before they even went on the market. So for easy example was an old office next to the town hall in Skunhop, where we got planning permission for 20 flats, and that one was never on Rightmove, Zoopla, anywhere. So I met the guy who says, "Oh, I paid that money for that, and I can sell you for this money." So it was like silly money. I'll pay like for the big office something around 100K, and we got planning permission for 20 flats over there. So direct to vendor. So
out of interest, you mentioned it was an old office building, and you said planning permission. Was this the one you knocked down?
Yeah.
So that's why you didn't do it under permitted development?
Yeah.
I guess it wasn't economic to convert the building.
To do that to permitted development, also I will have to basically knock that down, because external walls, it wasn't cavity wall, it was like some thin walls, and even if the planning, I will get planning, the permitted development for that, I will definitely will not get an exit strategy. I will not get refinance because no bank will refinance me this.
That is quite a step up, because we're talking about doing HMOs, then doing a pub conversion into 6 flats, and now you're talking about buying an old office building in a lower value area where you've got to have far more cost control, knocking it down and building 20 plus apartments. What did you think, what did you have to have in place before taking on a project like that?
Well, before even I started this, there was another project where we built 7 detached houses in Sheffield, and that was during the pandemic, and so that was quite difficult as well.
Oh, that must have had problems in the pandemic.
Yeah. So, but when I heard straight away what is happening around the world, I told the guy who was on site, like, order everything what you need to build that. Whatever you can.
Face masks.
Yeah, we didn't know about face masks that time. Whatever you can put down on site, just order.
Yeah.
So we've been lucky, and that was most of the sites in Yorkshire been closed, and we still was building. And after that, the main goal was to build and sell those houses so I can get like more experience as a property developer, to get like development finance. And then my idea was always to build a portfolio. So my goal was to build a block of flats and keep them as rental properties.
Let me just rewind a little bit, because this is very, very interesting. Because so far what we've been talking about is convert to let out, or build to rent out. And when you build 6 detached houses, 7 detached houses, they are not going to be to rent out.
No.
So the exit is to sell.
Yeah.
Why specifically did you switch strategies and do something for the sale market?
So when I was speaking to mortgage advisors, about development finance, they always was explaining me, if you will have more experience, then you can get a better deal from the bank.
Yes,
and
very true. For development finance.
For development finance, yeah. So that was basically the goal, to learn on something smaller, to do in future something bigger. And it's just, building a plan. So what do I need to in future build a block of flats? Like, it would be good if you're gonna start from something smaller. And I was just going step by step. So usually, if I can advise anything, it's really good to create a plan. Whatever you want to do, create a plan, like what I need to do to achieve that. Like, I need to go for A, B, C, D, but then A, it's like another 10 different steps. B is another 10 different steps. So just create a plan, do like other bits, other steps, other stages, and focus on them, and it's gonna get you to the point where you want to go. Same like me when I was climbing Mont Blanc. It wasn't like, oh, we're going Mont Blanc tomorrow. No, what we need to do, how we need to prepare. We need to get some special training, like we need to know how to use the equipment. We need to train our body, to survive there. The Mont Blanc is like extreme place where in average, every year, 100 people dying there. It's like 5 times more deaths in Mont Blanc than on Mount Everest. So it's not like a joke. But still, people go in there unprepared and they dying. Like when we walk there, I was talking to person like, what are your experience? Have you been on like training, like climbing training, anything like that? Do you know how to use? No. So what are you doing here? Like, how long it took you to that path? And he said, like, we walked there 8 hours, where we, as experienced people, we walk there 2 hours. And then exactly the same is with the business. You need to prepare yourself, and with the property as well. People do make mistakes in properties. They like, oh, I heard someone on YouTube, he got like a big portfolio, he's driving fancy car, I'm gonna do it exactly the same. It must be easy. I'm going on auction. And then they buy on auction a property which, for example, have some problem with construction, or maybe it's unmortgageable property because it's non-standard construction, and they put in money on the bridging loan, for example. So it's high percentage interest, and they losing, because they didn't prepare properly. So exactly,
yeah, absolutely.
I was creating a plan, like, I'm going to go do step by step conversion, commercial to residential, then small new build developments, and then we go next step, building block of flats.
Let me ask you a little bit about the developing the 7 houses then, because obviously when you're doing rentals, you're building a block of flats and you're renting them out. The exit is relatively straightforward. You just rent out the units at the end, and it's easy to refinance it on a long-term loan. But with new build houses, you've got to sell, and they take time to sell. And this was in towards the end of the pandemic.
Yeah.
Was it difficult to exit from that deal?
So I think in UK there are like statistics saying every four or three properties you buy in, like one will fall. So you will not get that purchase. So when we have 7 detached houses, we got some 3D graphics, how it's going to look like when it's going to be done, and we start advertising that through the local estate agent to sell that off plan. So there was like 7 people arrive who put down £500 deposit, and 2 of them quit. So we had like 7 finished houses and 2 of them quit, and we put that back on the market, and that was like end of the pandemic time. So all other houses, they've been valued by estate agent for 155, and we told them like, let's try 170. So we found people who was willing to buy them for 170,000, and then 2 houses where the buyers pull out. We thought like, oh, maybe we're gonna try now 200k.
Oh, right.
And a week later, we found people who was willing to pay 200k. And funny story, sorry for my accent, because I'm Polish immigrant who living in Yorkshire, and I talk like mix up like with Polish and Yorkshire accent. So I'm talking like Duck Sunday Monday. I'm hoping everyone will clearly understand me. And 2 of the buyers, week before, they told us like, if you're not going to drop the price another 20k, we're pulling out. So I told them like, listen, you got 1 week to finish, otherwise you're going to pay 200k instead of 170. So still people asking me, David, but they just put down £500 deposit. Like, why you didn't change the price? You could, take out this property from the deal and sell it for 200k. So I was trying to imagine myself, like I got two kids, wife, and I'm waiting for my, dream house where I'm going to raise my family. We're going to live there. And I will not want to be treated this way, that the developer, just before we're going to, exchange, will change the price. And I didn't did that to people who was buying off me. So I want to, this is quite important for me, I want to go to the bed with the feeling I'm doing things right for the people. So we sold 2 houses for 200k, and rest of them, which was 5, we sold them for 170. So basically we sold them more than then being valued at the very beginning, and there was a huge demand. That was the pandemic time, so people got bouncing back.
People wanted detached houses, people wanted gardens at that time.
So at the beginning, architect, when he created a project, there was like 8 houses, and most of them was terrace houses. And we asked the local agent, how much we're going to get for detached and how much we're going to get for terrace house. So there was like a huge difference, and I calculate if we're going to take out one of the houses and we're going to build 7 instead of 8, we will spend less money to do 1, and entire GDV will be even higher. So that was like quite interesting thing, where we're going to build less houses and we're going to get more from it.
That's an important point, because I think when people get an architect on board, the architect is really an entrepreneur.
That's true.
And they are designing from an architect's point of view, not from an entrepreneurial maximization of profit and end values point of view.
In my entire history, I'm in properties now. This year is 10 years. I was correcting architects loads of different times. Loads. Like, for example, HMO, I see the way, like, listen, it doesn't need to be perfectly square. We can take a little bit out from this room, add a little bit to this room, and then we get the measurements which are required for HMO license. And architects, they usually they never see that, So that's another thing which will definitely come to you guys with the experience, like where you're gonna correct your architect, and you will do things which will be better for you as a entrepreneur.
So David, you came to the UK, you're fed up with the warehouse job, you got your more than 6 houses, you got you're established, you got that financial freedom. What is driving you over the next few years?
So I was feeling lonely when I was working in that warehouse, and I thought, maybe it's gonna be nice to run my own conferences when people with same mindset will gather in one place. So I start without expecting anything. I just start my first event where there was like around 12 people attend, and I was like extremely happy. Wow, someone came. Someone want to listen about business and properties, and that grew to in 1 year to a size of 200 people. We had to move to like a big hotel, DoubleTree by Hilton in Sheffield. And every 2 months we have over 400 people full in Polish, and I thought it's a big niche where no one do that in professional way in Polish. And those conferences, I was not expecting anything, and through like some kind of evolution, it's create for me like those different kind of businesses, because I own like 20 LTD companies. At the very beginning,
we'll show some pics on screen of some of the conferences, and you've invited me to speak at the one this weekend. 400 people.
Exactly.
But I'm not going to be speaking in Polish. Obviously.
No. They will understand English.
You let me off.
Yeah, no problem.
But what do you get out of running these events and creating this community?
So first of all, I was meeting new experts who can help me, like architects, mortgage advisors, solicitors, different kind of stuff, different kind of people, and that helped to scale my business. I found my first employees who, been excited about property business, so they was like focusing on the job, like, oh, not like 8 hours, and after 8 hours, like, I don't care what's gonna happen. So they've been committed to whatever they did, and people was like keep asking me, David, can you do me a property training? I says, why you want that? Like, you can attend those meetings and ask other people. And they says, I don't want to walk to those, arrive to on those meetings for another 2-3 years to learn everything, because I'm gonna forget what was at the very beginning. I want everything in just 1 day or 2 days. So people was asking me, can I do them a property training? So I thought, okay, yeah, we can start that. And there was so many people. I was doing that only for 4 people groups, and my throat was really bad, so I decided not to do anymore. But then there was like a bigger group, and they say, so do like once every 2 months, like for the group one. So that would create a new business, which was property trainings. And then people was asking me, can I use your deal sourcing company? I said, but they finding properties just for me. And they asked me, but what about properties which you are not interested in, like just normal single let property? And I thought, do you want one of them? And they says, yeah, I would love to buy a house from you. So I said, okay, you can have that. And then they asked, can we use your project manager for renovation? And I says, okay, I can, yeah, for certain fee, I can lend you them. And then they ask for letting agency. I says, why you can't rent that by yourself? And they says to me, like, I don't want that hassle. Can we use your letting agency? And I thought, like, we renovate those houses, we find those houses by ourselves. Yeah, we can lend them out. And then they ask, can you do for us an account? I will do the accountants. So I create an accountants company. And then they ask, oh, it would be nice if we can have everything in under one umbrella. When you're gonna have your mortgage advisor company and solicitor company? So I'm at the moment we going through the FCA. So finger crossed, I will have my own mortgage advising company, and we will also need in the future maybe something with the solicitors. And this is how I create those businesses, but because there was a huge demand from the society, and now we're finding from 8 to 15 houses every month.
Okay.
Today we're renovating around 23 houses at the same time. So there is huge demand. There is many people who don't have that time to do it by themselves, but they have money which they would like to invest, and it's really good return. The numbers are accurate, so we do it's like really good comparables. So it's not like numbers from the moon, because this is what we see many times on the market, that people making up the numbers so they can sell the deals. My name, my brand is too important for me. So I rather for example, to sell 8-15 houses than instead to sell 25-30 houses, which the numbers which will be not accurate. Because I always thinking in long term. So property business is like long term. It's not like get rich quick, get rich tomorrow. But if you're gonna do everything what you can to do as best as you can, in long term it will pay you off.
Now, one thing you've mentioned time and time again is how you've had a plan for the next couple of years and for the new builds and all that. You always have a plan. So what's the plan for the next few years?
So one of the things was to buy a huge house it's in a really good area, Dor in Sheffield, where I will be able to host speakers under my roof, so I can spend privately time with them, learn from their experience, because this is the thing which is giving me a lot of drive. I want to also listen other people's history, what problems they have, what kind of solution they found for it, and because I see the business and the way we're doing things, like adding new properties to the market, like the process of creation. It's I see that also aspiring. It's inspiring me, and I want to keep doing that. Adding the value to the society. I'm sometimes like laughing. It's time to make Great Britain great again. So I believe we need more people in different branches in this country, to work out, to create, to add value to the society. That's how we can make world better for our kids. And basically the society I create, the Polish community, this is giving me huge drive, because whenever we fly into different places, we've been with my wife and kids in Turkey 2 weeks ago, and people recognize me even, in places like that, and they coming over to me and shaking my hand and telling me that I changed their life. So every time when we fly into different places, someone is coming over to me and telling that they are so grateful for what I'm doing, and they're not necessarily my students, but only from watching the YouTube channel, they're telling me like, oh, I got already 4 buy-to-let properties. It's changed my life, and I'm hearing those stories all the time. If not on airport, if not somewhere on the street, someone is sending me a message, and I got like huge, messages where they telling their story and they telling how much it's changed their life. So this is like, whoa, I'm just, make a video on YouTube and it's changed someone's life, for a better.
Let me ask you a question.
So this is like blowing my head.
Let me ask you a question, because I get a lot of this as well. And, people have been on my training and YouTube and come to our events, and it's been life-changing and all of that. But in wider society, what we do is not really that well regarded. We've got government ministers saying, landlords are this, landlords are that, and we want to do this to you and that to you and all the rest of it. And it's as though we're not liked in general society. But there is this good feeling of being useful and being relevant to your group of people, which is business people, entrepreneurial people, property people, and that gives you a sense of satisfaction. Is that one of the drivers, I guess?
It is, and it's a lot of good energy, and people keep
Good
asking
energy,
me.
very important.
People still keep asking me, David, why are you still investing? Why are you still doing that? Like what? And I'm asking like, what do you like me to do? Like, do you want me just sat down on couch and watch Netflix, watch TV, and what I'm gonna do for rest of my days? So people are not aware of that. For example, in Poland, there are statistics that people who got retired and they have nothing to do, they die in very quick.
That's worldwide. That's everywhere.
Yeah. So there is that thing which people want to be needed for other.
And if you do what you're passionate about and you keep doing it, then
exactly. That's what which is helping me open my eyes every day and get things done. So my wife, after so many years, she's keep asking me, where are you getting that energy from? Like, I don't know where you're getting that energy from. How you can do that? So, and she keep asking me, I don't know. It's just excited, and I'm passionate about it. Like, let's do some stuff, and it's getting. I don't know where is that energy coming from, but it's maybe when you're gonna find your passion, then you will have a lot of that energy as well to do this stuff.
Listen, David, chatting to you has been wonderful. I really love your energy and passion for the subject. We've put in the description details of how you can catch up with David and also attend his events, Hasbira events. We'll put a link in there as well. David, this has been wonderful. It's been a great chat. Thanks for the goodies as well.
In the future, maybe I will start my events also in English if people will see worth it to they will see value to visit the Polish immigrant who speak mix up accent Polish and Yorkshire. Because like I said, I was doing everything in Polish, but maybe in future, maybe this year or next year, I will start doing also events in Sheffield in English.
Listen, David, the language of real estate property is international. It's global, really. And on that note, thanks very much for joining us. Of course, like, comment, subscribe, and see you guys in the next video.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
Thank you.
All the best.